Well, a new page of the presidential playbook this Cyber Monday it is, as both merchants and presidential candidates alike hope to bring in lots of cash over the internet. But is one cyber campaign guilty of cyber bullying? It's a campaign of Texas Republican Congressman Ron Paul. Now, Paul had barely been able to make the meter move before hauling in a record $4 million online in just one day. But Paul's supporters are accused of using the internet to swarm media and individuals critical of the Paul campaign. Joining us now with an inside look at how the candidates' cyber campaigns are evolving, Andrew Rasiej, co-founder of TechPresident.com. Mr. Rasiej, thanks very much. So tell us about the kerfuffle, the Ron Paul kerfuffle. What's it all about?
Well, certainly the internet is proving itself to be the wild card in the 2008 presidential election, and Ron Paul supporters are guilty of finding him and actually driving his campaign forward, much to the chagrin of the other candidates who have been trying to catch internet fire. Ron Paul supporters have taken a candidate that would otherwise be viewed as a maverick and turned him into a mainstream candidate.
And why has this happened? I know he is kind of an odd campaign, if you can. His campaign is not usual in the sense that it's clearly Republican or Democratic, so it can draw from both the left and the right.
Well, one of the main reasons why is because his campaign is very open. It encourages supporters to use the tools of the internet to drive their message, to talk to other supporters, to reach out to the mainstream media and to tell people about the Ron Paul campaign. Most campaigns are much more about top-down control. The most significant thing that's happened with Ron Paul in relation to this money that he's raised recently is he's made the network open so that people who are donating can actually see the impact of their money in real time. They can see who's donating.
Explain what you mean by that.
Well, normally if you give money to a presidential campaign or actually any federal campaign, it has to be filed with the Federal Election Commission, and then eventually that donor information is released to the public many months after the donation is actually made. So in the Ron Paul case, they've actually made the data open. So when a donation comes in, it's made that information is made available immediately to the supporters, so they actually can see their donations.
So how could that be? How could they be accused of fouling in that sense? In that sense, well, they're more open than anybody.
Exactly, and that's actually, I don't think it's really, the accusation isn't really correct. I mean, the reality of it is that the organized minorities always have more power in democracies than disorganized majorities. And in this particular case, the Ron Paul campaign has proven that organized supporters who have created a community are creating a byproduct, which is money and energy that is propelling his campaign.
Now, I think of Howard Dean when I think of the internet, in addition to Ron Paul. Both of these guys, well, of course, Howard Dean didn't become a presidential candidate of substance, and it's unlikely, although it's a little early, that Ron Paul will. Why is it the fringe candidates that the internet draws?
Well, our history has is laden with examples of maverick candidates that have captured the imagination of the American public, whether it was Ross Perot or Jesse Ventura in Minnesota. Candidates that have clear messages that resonate with a particular segment of the population tend to catch fire. Now, it remains to be seen whether the Ron Paul campaign can convert this into actual votes at the polls. But the reality of it is that his campaign is the one that's moving the most forward with using the internet in an innovative way, because where Howard Dean was able to generate a great deal of money and support from blogs, there are far more tools available now, such as Facebook and MySpace, YouTube, and others, that allow candidates to empower their supporters in a more provocative way.
By the way, very quickly, you say the internet elected Jim Webb in Virginia. How so?
Well, because in that election, Senator George Allen made the unfortunate mistake of using the word macaca and having it captured on video. And that video was then propagated on the internet by supporters of Jim Webb, and eventually became so powerful that it actually destroyed his candidacy for Senate and potentially his entire political